Hey guys, and welcome back to another week of the Weekly Mash. So it's been a while since I've been here. I think you only had Esty last time, which some people probably prefer. I don't know. No, but yeah, I've been away working, traveling a bit, but yeah, working, and yeah, it's been some exciting times, exciting trip, and yeah.
I'm sure we all missed you a lot. So
thank you. Yeah, no, that's great. So what did you get up to?
So last week we went to Galbraiths.
Yeah.
And we talked about hops and the flavours, New Zealand hops, especially sort of, just different tricks.
Okay.
With hopping.
Adding it,
which is best, and
oh, that's cool.
That was really interesting and really informative. I learned heaps.
Did you eat a hop?
No, I didn't, but I definitely enjoyed the beer.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the beer there. Yeah. So if you're around in the area of Mount Eden, definitely go in and say hi.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, let's see the video.
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome to another weekly match. This week we are visiting at Galbraiths in Mount Eden, Auckland, and we are talking to Sam. He's a brewer here, and he's going to talk to us a little bit more about hops, give us a little bit of tips and tricks of the trade, and just clarify a few things with us. So Sam, what do we have here firstly?
Well, I have the Bob Hudson's bitter and the Barron's bitter.
Cheers. So can you talk to us about the hops you guys use?
We mainly use British hops and whole hop form. And we use that for a little bit of authenticity, but also the flavours that those hops bring. British hops are well known for being quite low in alpha, so mellow on the bitterness, lots of earthy aromas and flavours, quite a good sort of sacky hop palate. And when you're using them in dry hopping, it gives a nice sort of quenching dryness to your beer.
So do you also use the whole hop form for dry hopping?
Yes, can do.
Okay.
Can do. Not too often with British ales.
Yeah.
But yeah, can definitely do that, and you get really good results as well. A lot of the sort of tannins and mushed up hop get left behind in the whole petal form, and yeah, so you get a really sort of oily, resiny aroma coming through, which is quite unique and quite different compared to your palate dry hop.
That's so interesting. And I think we talked about it for ales. What hops is it really good sort of
well,
choices?
For British ales, you really want sort of a mellow and full and sort of a luscious hop. One of my favourites at the moment is the Brewing Cross from the UK, which is quite sort of blackberries. There's some Brewer's Gold from Germany, which is actually quite I've been using a few times in some ales. And it's got a really strong apricot aroma, sort of tending towards the US Cascade, but sort of it's a lot mellower and straight apricot.
How do they get those flavours in beer? Is it just?
It's just what people perceive.
Oh, so it's like okay, so they don't sort of breed it in.
No, it's just it's your brain is always affected by your experiences, and if you're in the power of suggestion. So if you pick up the pint and I'll say bubblegum, then you might perceive bubblegum, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Hops grow all around the world in different climates, bring different aromas to the floor.
Okay. And New Zealand hops, it's becoming quite big.
Yeah, New Zealand hops are really popular, and I think breweries in New Zealand are quite lucky to be able to use New Zealand hops so readily. I know overseas breweries finding it really difficult to source those.
Really?
And they keep some aside for us New Zealand hops too, so I think it'll be lucky.
So what are the major differences with New Zealand hops and say your American hops?
New Zealand hops, they're really intense and full of flavours, like you said, long sort of flavours there. Gooseberry and and citrusy notes and sherbet and passion fruit, tropical fruit salad sort of aromas. And they're also quite high in alpha. A lot of them are quite high in alpha, so they're quite bitter and punchy. Whereas your Australian hops are kind of a little bit more on the fruity side, but still quite bitter. British hops are really sort of subtle and earthy and full and sacky and robust. German hops are more sort of clean and delicate and floral and citrusy and spicy. And the American ones are just big grunty hops. They can be like the Columbus, which is quite sort of juicy and just a really great hop. The Amarillo is more sort of that sweaty.
Horse sweaty, maybe like the horse sweaty.
And then you've got your Cascades and things like that, which are really citrusy and passion fruit.
And also in terms of sort of like dry hopping, that's quite a major discussion as well for adding those, extra last bit of flavour into it. Is there any specific technique that you guys are following or?
Well, dry hopping techniques are quite different. With the whole hops, we've got to contain every single last skerrick of hop to make sure that it doesn't get out into the wild. But in doing that, all of the petals are kept in one place, so you're getting a lot of the oils and the resins and all the good stuff out of the hops when you're dry hopping with whole hops. And you're leaving all the cut up bits of tannin and broken bits of petal and stuff, you're leaving that behind. And you're left with a really sort of juicy product, so I'm definitely recommend
dry hopping
with whole hops.
And what stage do you do that again? So that's basically pretty.
So towards the end of the process, towards the end of the fermentation. You definitely don't want to add them too late, which a lot of home brewers and brewers have done in the past. You definitely need just a little bit of yeast action still available to soak up that oxygen that you're adding with the dry hopping.
So how many days would you say into fermentation?
I'd probably say 5 to 7, depending on depends on how fast your fermentation is going. So,
okay.
A lot of our beers are more balanced and more on the they're not the big punchy dry hopped beers, so most of our beers are used, hops are used in the kettle.
Okay.
For us, yeah.
And the boiling process.
Yeah.
Okay. And so obviously with each recipe there's different sort of time frames that like with adding the hops.
Yeah, for sure. If you want a really bitter beer, you add a lot of hops at the start of your boil.
Right.
That means the alpha acids that are present in the hops, they're able to dissolve and isomerize into the bitter flavour that you've got.
So Sam, during the boiling process, it's obviously important to keep the hop additions quite wide in these certain time frames, right?
Yep.
And so if you added quite early in the boiling process, what would you expect to get out of that?
Okay, well, for us, the boiling process is 90 minutes, it's an hour and a half. And during that time, hops, the alpha acids that are naturally present in the hops are dissolving and isomerizing in the boil. And so the earlier you add it in the boil, the longer it's had to boil, so the more bitterness is imparted into your beer. So the timing is really important. When you're on brew day, when you're brewing, if you're adding a certain amount at 90 minutes, then that's going to sort of give you that sort of that really bitterness strong goodness on the back of your tongue. Whereas if you're adding later on, we'll say a 60-minute or 45, that's going to be sort of a palate bitterness or a palate hops. And then later on in the process, in your 20s and your 10s and your 5s, that's more just sort of a sort of the top notes for your beer, and so that's more your aromas and that sort of juicy flavour on your tongue that's not coming across from the
Okay, so early on bitterness, later on aromas, taste. So that's where you get the sort of strawberry flavours, plum flavours, or gooseberry.
Yeah, so later on, if you're adding it later on,
Yeah.
definitely it's where all those flavours and aromas are coming through.
Okay, so what do we have here?
This is our bottled range that we distribute. We've got our lager, Pilsner, NZPA, Pale Ale and Strong Ale. These are all based on recipes from around the world. So you were asking before about the regional variations between the hops.
Yes.
So we've got our lager here. It's a Munich style lager. So we've used Spelt Select, which is a really powerful German hop. Quite unique, quite minty, and but quite subtle at the same time. Pilsner here is it's a Czech style Pilsner, so it's around 40 IBUs, and it's got quite a lot of Herzbrucker and Tettnang hops in there, a little bit of Sarts as well. And the Sarts is spicy, Tettnang's like a clean but powerful grassiness, and the Herzbrucker is just a nice mellow honey note in the background, but it gives a really sort of beery hop aroma and flavour to the beer. NZPA, we're using Southern Cross, which is more of a traditional New Zealand hop, quite spearminty and quite powerful and grunty at the same time. That's more of a British New Zealand style IPA. So that comes across the palate as quite earthy at the same time. The American style pale ale is it's using obviously American hops. We've used whole hops in the boil, so we've got lots of US Cascade, so that's really apricotty and citrusy, and quite juicy at the same time. It's quite unique. We don't have any dry hopping in it because we wanted to get really clean, easygoing beer and not crowd it too many hops. Quite a good, well-balanced ale. And then the last one here is our strong ale. That's British style strong ale, so we actually brew that on site here, and we'll rack that off into casks with some cask conditioning, and then roll those casks down to the bottling. With that, we're using a lot of Fuggles and Goldings and the traditional British hops.
Yep.
So hops really don't come to the fore, but they add that fullness and that palate to the beer, and at 9%, so
Wow, 9%.
it's a big deal, yeah.
Wow. Sam, so there's been quite a few discussions on how do I pronounce it correctly? Is it Trub or
I just call it Trub. I don't.
Trub?
I make the beer. I don't make the history. So no, I just call it Trub. What are you talking about?
Okay, cool. Because so just wondering, what is Trub?
It's the partly it's a little bit of cold break from your kettle. So that's your proteins coagulating and falling to the bottom of your kettle.
Okay.
It's partly the hop debris from the hops that we've added during the boil. And it keeps the dead yeast cells in the bottom of your fermenter if that's the case.
Okay.
So they can, if they get into your beer, you can have sort of a hazy final product. It can be quite astringent on your palate. basically you don't really want any beer.
Okay. And in terms of hops, because there's a perception out there that most of, the Trub consists of hops. Is that true? Because a lot of people are using these days like spider bags or hop bags. Is that really necessary, would you say?
It depends on how anal you are on the clarity of your beer. And to start off with, I'd just try racking it off the top of your kettle, or racking it out of your fermenter before going to too much trouble, unless you are actually having problems with it. But even Trub in your fermenter, it can be a good thing if you're fermenting a high gravity beer.
Right.
You can add a few nutrients to your yeast to get your yeast really going through the fermentation. And if you've got a decent way of conditioning your beer, dropping the yeast out, most of the Trub will come with it. And then you just got to rack it off the top of that.
So, and what are you guys using Trub for? It's a good nutrient.
Use our Trub for usually a little bit of it goes down the drain. But we have a market garden out the back, and they grow a lot of the salads and greens for the garnishes on our plates. So if we're using New Zealand hops for a beer, then we're able to reuse a lot of the hop debris and the Trub and that. And our gardener comes in and he's all very happy that he's done a New Zealand hop beer, and he comes in and steals it and mulches it up and mixes it with heaps of things, and turns it into the radishes and things on our plate.
That is awesome. It's like a full circle.
Yeah, sure.
That's sustainability.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. This was amazing, and I'm definitely going to get some of those beers. And thank you so much for your time. Cheers.
Cool, that was really great. So,
Yeah.
You enjoyed that?
I loved it.
Learned some
Learned
things?
heaps, definitely. So interesting. And I'm looking at hops in a whole different way.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you haven't eaten a hop yet.
I haven't.
You should try it.
I should. What
Yeah.
does it taste like?
Just have it. And see. Yeah.